friends, Jewel back. And oh, you can't see me very well. Is that better? I wanted to talk a little bit about Mars opposite Neptune today. What happens when we see this in the birth chart? So Mars is the warrior in us. It is the force of accomplishment. Neptune is apathy, lack of force. Mars is courage and brashness. Neptune is about hiding, avoidance, escapism, spirituality, sensitivity, things that are hidden or not readily apparent. So these two planets really are nothing alike. They represent two very, very different facets of the personality and of life. So when we have these two coming together in any hard angle, these are actually some of the more difficult aspects to deal with in a birth chart because of the nature of what these two planets represent and how they mix. So the opposition is one, it can be a very frustrating aspect that really demands action, but it's not really apparent how to take that in a straight line or a straightforward manner. So there's kind of a manipulative underlying motivation for the way people use their Mars when we have this opposition. So when desire, Mars, is stimulated, a lot of times with this one, so is illusion related to how to make that desire materialize. So, Neptune is really not an honest influence because it is so based on expectation and what we think we should. There's a lot of shoulds with Neptune. And so this is one where when the desire nature, which is Mars, goes forward, they can very much expect to be rewarded for their giving, but really they're giving to receive. So people can really often see through the actions with people that have this particular opposition because it can arouse suspicion or make people feel creeped out or give people kind of this thought like, why are you going so far out of your way, or why are you sending me flowers when I've known you for 5 minutes, or why are you offering yourself up so much and we haven't really established any relationship. So they give too much too soon, too early. And it can cause other people to be suspicious of why that is and to take advantage of them. Because there are two types of people. My father told me this when I was about 7 years old, and I've always remembered it because it is so true. There are people who will take advantage of you if they see that they can and can get away with it, and that is most people. Almost all people. Then there are very few people who, even if they see that they can take advantage of you and they can actually get away with it, they will still not do it. Those are very rare people. It is very much human nature to get what you can get. And if somebody else is offering themselves up, most people will act on that and take it. So this is one where people can find that their energies, their desires, their wants are wasted on other people, or are wasted on people who are not returning their affections in equal measure. So there's also often a sense in other people that if they do respond to the person that has this opposition, they are going to end up just being swallowed up by the desires or by the, there's almost a black hole energy that can be associated with these people who have this aspect, because they are looking so far outside of themselves to have their desires met. Other people pick up on this. So there's also not a lot of boundaries when we have this opposition. People will pursue the object of their affection in ways that are not entirely, how do I want to say? Well, I'm going to use the word normal. I really don't like the word normal, because what is normal? But in this case, normal, we can actually define that as typical dating behavior. So people with this opposition tend to be atypical in their the way that they pursue people. So they're just really too they're too aggressive when it comes to making their desires known or making their feelings known. So it's very, very common for them, because they don't have a lot of understanding of sexual boundaries, to end up feeling very burned or very hurt because their advances are not given the kind of credence that they would like, or they are taken advantage of, or they are laughed at behind their back. So it's one that can cause a certain amount of sexual confusion. We do see Mars-Neptune contacts in the charts of people that have some amount, not everybody, but some amount of either sexual identification issues, or sometimes, a lot of times we see it in the charts of people who really are homosexual. Lesbians have this opposition a great deal of the time in their charts. So it's not always going to lead to confusion, because this one can show up in myriad ways. It can show that it's just a different orientation. It's an orientation that is more feminized, because Neptune is a very feminine planet. And when it's mixing with Mars, which is our aggressive sexuality, it kind of feminizes that. So men that have Mars-Neptune contacts can have a more gentle way about them, and females can have a more masculine orientation about them. So it's one where the sexual desires are very strong. Sometimes in some people they can feel uncontrollable. It can lead to sexual addiction, the square and the opposition, the quintile as well. So it's one where people can fall under the spell of another very easily, and they can become addicted to another person. They can become addicted to somebody who they view as glamorous or beautiful or famous or artistic. They're very, very attracted to beauty, and they will go a little bit crazy if they find themselves attracted to somebody who represents Neptunian things. They can be very persistent in making their desires known. And in their mind, they're not. They don't really understand that they are pushing limits or pushing boundaries. They are naturally oriented to display their sexual desire in this manner. And so it's about understanding what boundaries are, learning those from the ground up, and then respecting those in others. So, we can see somebody who can become a spiritual warrior when we have this one, when they are really working with the higher octave of this particular opposition, because Mars is the warrior, Neptune is our spirituality. So when you put these two together, we see the spiritual warrior. And they can become very, very adept at fighting for their ideals, fighting for their dreams. So they become very inspiring when they learn to funnel their energies into practical applications, because their desires and their dreams generally are not practical. They have big dreams. They want to accomplish big things. And people that have been able to do that have Mars-Neptune contacts, you know that they have really worked on this. They have come a long way. If you see somebody that's really accomplished in their career or has done myriad different things, they have really put their boots to the ground, and they have fought to make these things come true. So they can become a real success if they have evolved out of the base instinct of seeking pleasure that this particular opposition gives to people. They have to make their Mars work for them, not against them, because they tend to get into, in their early lives, or the people that really haven't solved this, they tend to get into this loop of self-gratification that brings disappointment. So when they have really worked with this, they can become some of the most inspiring people that there are, because it marries their energy with their intuition. And so these people can become really adept at understanding the other world. They're great energy healers. These are great esoteric thinkers. These are great teachers of 12th house matters. They also do extremely well in front of the camera. It's not like the square where they do better behind the camera with the actual mechanics of film or of creation. Because this, all Mars and Neptune contacts work really well in Hollywood careers or in careers that have a lot of artistic requirements. They do extremely well in air and sea careers as well. So we see people in the Navy, we see pilots with this one. We see people that have really had to push through a certain amount of training to get to where they are. And these are highly evolved people. And so this is an aspect where they really need to learn to see their escapism as a mask to hide their fears of success or failure or of mainly taking action. So they see the success and the beauty in others that they don't recognize or that is untapped within their own selves. And that is why they have this predilection to fall in love with people that they deem more successful or beautiful or accomplished. So competition is a fearful thing for them. And it's really helpful if you have other hard contacts in your chart, like Mars or Pluto or Sun or Mars, or things that can kind of boost the aggression in somebody. It can go a long way towards balancing out the particular characteristics that this one brings into a personality. So really, all in all, they are looking to make their dreams, their big dreams, come alive. And if they can do that, it can lead to a lot of personal satisfaction and a real building of the ego. They learn to build their self-esteem on their actions, on their accomplishments. And that's really what lasts the longest. Instead of just like the sun, like I want you to appreciate me just for being. Mars is I want you to appreciate me for what I'm doing or what I've done. So they are very much prone to feeling like a failure or depression. That is something that they learn to take action out of. They have to break that loop so they can start seeing some successes that they can build on. So they very much are also looking for a very spiritual sexual partnership. Tantric sex, sexuality in general is something that they spend a lot of time fantasizing about. and they are looking for a bond that is beyond the physical, something that can bring them a certain amount of spiritual connection to another person. So it's a more difficult aspect to negotiate in the chart, but there is a lot of rewards for when people figure this one out. And it can really infuse the personality with this, artistic quality that really comes out in the way that they behave. They just kind of have this earth-real beauty about them. So I hope this was informative. If you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be back with more super cool videos soon. And I do like your requests. Please let me know what you would like to see. I always write them down. I can't respond to every comment, but I do read them. And it's important for me to know what my audience is looking for, because I'm not making these videos for myself. Yes, I do private consultation, email for appointment. You can find me on the internet at truthinAspectAstrology.com. You can find me on Facebook at Truth in Aspect Astrology. And I'll be back soon, probably in about 5 minutes. Bye.